video, I will explain first. After the Air India 171 crash, the main players of the aircraft market are under scrutiny. I'll explain to you there are two big players that controls the entire aircraft market and nobody can enter this, it's their monopoly. Second, what is the connection with Singapore Airlines that the former Union Minister of Civil Aviation, Praful Patel, is raising question? Let's get started. Hi, this is Khatija and you're watching the Free Press Journal. So what is Boeing? Why does the whole world rely on it? Let's break it down. I'm starting with the Ahmedabad crash, which is a shocking reminder. On June 12, 2025, Air India flight AI 171, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad. It was headed to London, it never made it. Over 241 lives were lost on board and at least 30 people on the ground perished. A horrifying tragedy, but here's the twist. Reports suggest the Ram Air Turbine, RAT, an emergency power device, was deployed right after takeoff. That's not normal. That's what happens when both engines fail. This isn't just a freak incident. It's a question mark on Boeing's track record. And behind that question lies a pattern. In the middle of all this devastation, a disturbing silence. Praful Patel, former Union Minister of Civil Aviation, publicly asked, why the deafening silence Singapore Airlines? Now here's why this matters. Singapore Airlines is not just a codeshare partner with Air India. They are substantial shareholder in the new Air India under the Tata Group joint venture. They also maintain a large number of Air India's wide-body aircraft. Not to mention, Campbell Wilson, Air India's current CEO, is a nominee of Singapore Airlines and formerly the CEO of their budget arm Scoot. So why hasn't Singapore Airlines commented publicly after such a catastrophic crash? That silence is deafening. Now importantly, let's talk about what is Boeing, why the world uses it. Well, it was founded in 1916. The Boeing company is an American multinational aerospace giant. It makes commercial airplanes, defense systems, satellites and space technology. But for you and me, Boeing mostly means jets we fly. From Air India to United Airlines, from Lufthansa to Southwest, Boeing aircraft dominate long-haul and budget routes. If you have flown, there is a 99% chance it was on either a Boeing or Airbus jet. So together, Boeing and its European rival Airbus control over 99% of the global large passenger aircraft market. That's not a duopoly, that's a sky monopoly. Now why no one can compete? Why haven't new players entered? It's because launching a commercial aircraft company needs $10 to $20 billion investment, 10 plus years of research, testing and certification, regulatory approvals from bodies like the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) and European Union Aviation Safety Agency, a global maintenance and service ecosystem, even China's COMAS, that stands for Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, is still decades away from global trust and scale. It's not just a high barrier, it's a fortress. Now how Boeing and Airbus neutralize threats? Well, they don't just compete, they absorb threats. First, Bombardier's C series, bought by Airbus and renamed the A220. Second, Embraer, almost acquired by Boeing. Third, McDonnell Douglas, merged with Boeing in the 1990s. Every time a rival rises, one of the two swoops in. Result, fewer aircraft types, less innovation, more control. See, most airlines stick to just one manufacturer. First, Indigo, all Airbus. Second, Southwest Airlines, all Boeing. And third, Ryanair, all Boeing. And now if you ask me why, it's because it saves on pilot training and maintenance spare parts. But it's risky. When the Boeing 737 MAX was grounded globally in 2019, Southwest had to cancel over 30,000 flights. That's the cost of depending on just one aircraft type. Now let's come to the point, the price you pay. An Airbus A320neo cost over 900 crore, that means $110 million. A Boeing 737 MAX around 1000 crore, and that's after discount. The order backlog 6 to 8 years. With no third player, these two giants control pricing. And when they raise prices, airlines pass it on to you, the flyer. Talking about its innovation, the 377, first launched in 1967. The A320, born in the 1980s. Today's MAX and A320neo are still based on those old designs with tweaks. But why no real evolution? Because upgrading is cheaper, safer and faster than inventing. And with no one pushing them to innovate radically, why bother? Well, to match Airbus's fuel-efficient A320neo, Boeing rushed out the 377 MAX. But instead of a new design, they modified the old one. They added a software fix, MCAS, maneuvering characteristic augmentation system. But pilots weren't fully trained. The software was flawed, and the result? 2 crashes. 346 lives lost, Boeing internal emails later revealed. Cost cutting was prioritized and simulator training and transparency. That's what a monopoly does, it runs safety into strategy. Now when regulators get too cozy, the Federal Aviation Administration FAA let Boeing self-certify parts of the 737 MAX. So yes, the company that made the jet also got to approve it. Well, after the crashes, the FAA admitted it missed critical red flags. That's not just a failure of oversight, that's a failure of independence. Now what are the state-sponsored giant? Well, this isn't a free market duopoly. Boeing gets defense contracts, subsidies and tax breaks from the US government. Airbus gets launch aid and industrial backing from European governments, even the World Trade Organization, flagged both for illegal subsidies. These aren't just companies, they are national champions. Well, in 2023, Indigo ordered 500 Airbus A320neo aircraft, the world's largest ever commercial jet order. Cost over $50 billion at least prices. But it wasn't just business, it was a strategic signal depending India-France industrial ties. Emmanuel Macron, president of France, personally backed Airbus as a key partner. Aircraft today are as much about diplomacy as they are about transport. Now see, the passengers is not their priority. So then what do Boeing and Airbus focus on? Well, it focuses on first, fuel efficiency, second, seat density, third, quick turnaround times. And now what about leg room, window size and noise? Well, these are on low priority because you are not their buyer, the airline is. You know, the future is slowed by monopoly electric planes, hydrogen jets, zero emission flights. Everyone talks about them, but Boeing and Airbus are taking baby steps. Why? Because they can. With no real challenger, they don't have to move fast. And innovation gets stuck on the runway. Now ending this with, we fly on Boeing and Airbus planes, but we also fly in their world, a world where they control first, safety culture, second, pricing, third, aircraft availability, fourth, technological speed, and fifth, even geopolitical influence. In the Boeing Airbus trap, we don't just fly, we surrender the skies. So next time you board a flight, know this. It's not just about getting from A to B. It's about which global giant built the metal under your seat and whether anyone ever dared to build a third. So this is Khatija signing off and you have been watching the Free Press Journal. If you found this story insightful, hit like, subscribe and leave a comment. Until next time, stay informed and fly safe.